Hello and welcome to Indie Encounter. My name is Sandra Laraine Coleman. The mission of our show is to give independent performers and artists access to as wide an audience as possible, and to give you, our viewers, a window into their art, their artistic process, and why they have chosen their particular avenue to connect with the world. All art is about communication and connection, where harmony wears halos, stars sweeten their shine, spiritual reggae rhythm abounds, and beauty reigns. Let's meet today's indie artist again, Lynette White.
Hi again.
Hi. Thank you so much for coming back.
Love it, love it.
I'm so glad, and you're such a phenomenal artist.
I appreciate that.
A phenomenal person, and I've only known you for a couple hours.
It's so cool. I love it. I love it.
But I feel like we've made this connection. And what I want to ask you about, we touched on family a little bit earlier, and you have two sons. And tell us about being the mom of twins.
It is the most beautiful, challenging, interesting. I mean, it's a full-time ministry, responsibility, blessing. And my boys are awesome, not just because I'm their mom, but they're awesome. They are really, really awesome. But it's such a trip watching, and you're a mother, so just watching these babies turn into people,
right?
You know, and see their personalities and what they like and what they don't like, and all of that is really awesome. But what I'm learning in this season is really like, and not to be all churchy about stuff, but really like the women in the Bible knew what it meant to raise a man-child. Whereas today, that's something that kind of is lost.
Right.
And so because, again, I go to a really awesome church and we get to learn a lot of how that's relevant, because we, particularly minorities, we talk about our men so bad.
Yes.
But as the mothers, the nurturers, the stewards, we don't own our part in not raising them to be the heads that God made. God made them the head.
Right.
But we are so out of order a lot of times that we don't get it right. So being their mother and learning what an awesome responsibility it is interesting, and it's a growing, transitioning thing for me every day, but it is a joy.
And it's funny that you should say that, because I see so many women cutting off their own head. And it's not fair. And I think a lot of the damage has been done. I'm not going to say all of the damage, but a lot of the damage to the black male has been done by the woman.
There are, I mean, what you could call generational curses. I mean, they start, we want to blame everything on the man. Right. You know, but it's just the sin nature. It's just, we don't have it right. We're out of order. You know, we speak to our men crazy. We castrate our sons from the time. One of the things that is a kind of a pet peeve for me is when I hear black comedians. It's funny and everything, but the first thing they get on stage and say is, "My mama was crazy." Right. And then we make light at the abuse that we perpetrate on our children. My mother would beat me within an inch of my life. Right. It's funny the way you're delivering it, but the real is, it's not funny. Right. You know,
right,
and
not funny at all.
You know, and then we say, that's what's wrong with our kids today. They need to be beat. Well, that's some other stuff.
Right, right.
When you really, yes, we all need discipline. Absolutely. We need order, we need boundaries.
Right.
But we don't necessarily need to be beat.
Not beat,
beat within an inch of our lives,
right,
with foreign objects.
Exactly, brooms and stuff.
Right, we don't necessarily need that. And I'm not dissing any of our mothers and fathers that came before us.
Right.
Because we only worked with what we had, and you only know what you know.
Right.
And you can't solve a problem you don't know you have.
Right.
But the real is, there's a stewardship and a love that has to be the foundation of discipline.
Right.
To really raise these amazing men that we've been given.
Exactly.
So I'm learning that, and it's a challenge because our default is to do what we know.
Right,
right. You know? But the stakes are really high.
They really are.
after you've lost, it's too late to go back and say, my bad. It's not one of those. You don't get a do-over.
You don't. Not with children.
You don't get a do-over. So it's important to put yourself in a position to say, what can I be doing differently here?
Right.
What can I do better?
Right.
Your kids are tripping. They're showing you something.
Right.
You're blowing it somewhere.
Somewhere. And you need to do some self-correcting.
Right. We're quick to say kids these days.
Mm-hmm.
Parents these days. Mm-hmm. We're not what we used to be either.
We are not.
Grandmothers used to make blankets.
Yes, they did. And show you how to make some too.
Grandmothers used to crochet,
yes,
remember?
Yes, they did.
My boys ain't seen a crocheted blanket. And their children won't either.
Well, look, send them to me. I have some. I crochet.
Well, bless the Lord.
Yes.
No, but you know what I mean? Things are changing
yes,
with our parenting.
Yes.
And we just need to own it. Because we don't have to lose the generations. We don't have to continue to perpetuate these stereotypes and this brokenness. We just have to own it.
We do. And this is a battle that we can win.
Absolutely.
If we put some effort into
Absolutely. Because
so,
there's victory to be had.
Yes, there is.
You got to get on the winning team.
That's right. That's right. And bless you for raising 2 young men.
Praise
now,
God.
How do they feel about having a mom that's just so dynamic? I mean, I could imagine if I were like your son, but how do they feel?
They feel better about the fact that I can really, really cook. That's their primary blessing. They love music. They both write, they play instruments, so they really dig the singing and getting into the music thing. But because I've always sang and we've always been in church, to them it's not like, ooh, my mom can sing. You know what I mean? They always see videos and CDs and stuff like that. So that's kind of regular for them. They love family and food and love, and it's afforded them the opportunity to travel a little bit and stuff, so that part is really great for them. But I'm loving that they're musical and they're learning instruments and stuff like that. That's really cool, and I know they love that. Right.
And so for them it would be like, and I guess when my daughter sees me, because I mean, I didn't realize that she just took it for granted that that's my mom on stage. That's not Sandra Laraine Coleman. That's my mom.
Mommy.
Exactly. So I'm sure your sons, from what you just said to me, your sons don't see you as this, phenomenal, dynamic artist that everybody else sees. They see mom, which puts it in a whole different perspective. Not that you're not any less dynamic or talented or anything else, but you're their mom, and that's what they're used to.
And they're quick to tell me when I get off stage, yeah, that note in the second song, that wasn't good. I don't like when you sing like that.
Wow.
Don't do that. They are quick to, you messed up on the second verse. That was wrong, mommy.
So there are also critics as well. What? Oh my gosh. So then you have to make sure you're on.
Keep it tight.
Yeah. Look, mom, don't go flat.
Right.
And that's good because they have, and then if you're, doing something, they can say, it's like checks and balances.
Yeah, it's helpful. I mean, they're only 13, and so, you have to remind them of that every once in a while. But as far as the music thing goes, it's really, really cool to see them growing up to get into it. And they have a good ear, and they can sing, and it's really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. But talent births talent.
Praise God.
And that's awesome that you can make it a family thing. Now, do they ever play behind you, or?
They will. They did a little bit of something on one of my CDs, but now that they're actually bigger and really learning how to do it, I can't wait for the opportunity to have them with me. I can't wait. Like, that's going to be so cool. Now, if they'll let me sing with them, it's going to be the issue. Because I personally think I'm kind of cool, and they're like, yeah, not so much. So,
I run into the same thing with my daughter, because I'm thinking, like, I'm the cool hip mom, and she's like,
that's what I think.
My daughter's like, Mom,
as far as moms go, I think I'm pretty,
I know they see it like, no, Mom, not that one.
Right,
you are not that one.
And then you try to dance, and they're like,
yeah, I know. Especially, and don't try to get a hug or a kiss
in front of people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So
they will go through stages. So now they're in the stage where it's okay to hold my hand now and hug me again.
Right.
But there was a stage when they're like,
yeah, because they come back. Yeah, because my daughter has recently come back too. You know, she's like, okay, Mom, you can hug me now, or okay, you can kiss me right here on my cheek, Mom.
But don't. But what's interesting too, going back to what we were saying before about the parenting, learning that it is not my job to disrespect them. Like, to discipline them is not disrespecting them.
Right.
So they do have a right to a space, and what makes them feel ashamed or uncomfortable, they have a right to that.
Right.
And we kind of weren't taught that in our generation.
No, we weren't, because we were embarrassed regularly.
As a matter of fact, that was the threat. You know, I will embarrass you.
And see, if I have to pull that card every once in a while,
well, yeah.
You know.
I know my kids right now are going, you say that, Mom. Okay. You say that, don't front.
But it's okay, because then if that's what is needed.
Yeah, depending on what is, when I'm referring to, when I say that, I'm usually referring to pull those pants up. So if that's gonna, Anthony, pull your pants up. If that's gonna embarrass you, then don't let me have to do it.
Exactly.
Pull your pants up.
Don't take it to that point. Yeah, and I think maybe that's what our mothers and fathers and ancestors, the point they were trying to get across when they embarrassed us in public. If you don't want that to happen to you, then don't behave in this manner.
Right, right.
So, and being an artist, I think being an artist, and I don't know if you feel this way, but we can kind of be in touch with more aspects, because there's the spiritual, there's the emotional, there's the physical, there's all these things going on in all of us at any one given time. But I think our observation is heightened because in everything we see and do, there's the underlying art of it.
And there will be more, whereas if I didn't sing and if I didn't have the medium that I have, I probably wouldn't interact with children their age as much. But now, singing and being on stage, you know, it brings other kids their age into my area, and I get to see different, like you say, aspects of their age group than I would just see to have two 13-year-olds of my own.
Exactly.
And like what works and what doesn't work. Even when I'm singing and you got a whole crowd and you kind of want to include everybody, like what works and what doesn't work, they'll be quick to let me know.
Mom, that didn't work.
That didn't work.
So it's good
that
you have that gauge, though, that they can help you with that, because I know in the poetry community there are certain places that I didn't take my daughter, not because they weren't good spots, but because of the language.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to promote that as an artist. So how do you feel about, you know, as far as some use of the, even in songs like hip hop, you know, some of the language is just atrocious.
There are those that say that it's communication and this is what we live, so we're just keeping it real. I don't necessarily, I think it's a cop-out, you know, and I'm not dissing anybody, and I'm not judging anybody, but I think that I can communicate without, I mean, certain language is colorful, it's funny, you know what I mean, certain things you say just because it was funny, but ultimately, can't you communicate, can't you be funny without that?
Yeah.
You actually don't have to be corny to communicate a certain way. And certain things are ugly in the society we live in. And a lot of the people that are doing hip hop or whatever, they're talking about some ugly stuff, and it ain't no pretty way to say it.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I hear the broken and the lost and the dying, and we all need healing.
Right.
We all need healing.
And if you're an artist, there has to be a more creative way to get your point across. Because as a poet, I can say things to you and you can know what I'm saying, but I haven't really said it. I can talk about love without ever saying the word. You know, I can talk about a lot of things without ever saying the word. So why do we have to go that route?
Some people, I guess, don't have the ability to stretch there. But if you think about the fact that we do have children who are embracing and glamorizing all that you say, and they don't live in the projects, and they haven't seen a gun or the syringes or, you know, sold a crack.
The yellow tape.
They haven't. But you're glorifying it, so now that's what they think they want to aspire to. They don't see it as you're just telling your truth. They want it to be their truth. So I do think we do have a responsibility. And again, without being judgmental or critical of other people's get down. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying you can't say, I ain't trying to be no role model, because you are. you're up on that platform, and you're saying, follow me. Even if those are not the words you're saying, follow me.
Exactly.
And I was actually told this very recently. I have a standard to uphold because I'm the one up there saying, follow me.
Right, right.
So then that challenge isn't just mine. That commission isn't just mine.
Right. And what are you telling people to follow when you say that?
Really?
You know, like Caribbean, reggae, gospel says a whole lot.
Says a whole lot.
And I wanted to ask you about growing up being Jamaican and Belizean. What was that like for a kid going to Wilson High School?
In California, it was a bit challenging because what my experience was, and I'm not judging Californians, I'm just saying my experience was people were largely underexposed to culture. So there was always a lot of jokes, and what you don't know is bad, even in the church. An accent, anything with an accent is Jamaican, whether it's African, Trinidad, it's all, you know, they're just, what you don't know is bad. That was the experience that I grew up with. And then also I was a product of the light skin, dark skin thing, you know. Yeah. So for me it was challenging. One of the things that was awesome though is my family in New York, I was the first grandchild, so I was just the sun and the moon. Okay. So when I got to that peer pressure age in junior high, a lot of times I remember feeling like that, you know, those I'm drinking milk commercials. They just don't know. One of these days I'm going to be cute, and then they're going to, you know, that. I felt like that as opposed to feeling like, oh, I suck.
Right.
Which is what kids feel like when you can't find a place where you fit.
Right.
So, and I didn't fit
right
here almost at all. I did find my place in the church at a really young age, and I had a wonderful pastor, but even there, I just never really fit.
Right.
And I had to get old enough to realize that my fit is not in church, it's in God.
Right.
And I didn't get that.
Right.
Really.
And then it looks like you created your own fit. Even though your fit is in God, you've created this magnificence about yourself. And I know it was hard growing up because I know.
Yeah.
Connect the dots on my face. So I understand where you're coming from. But you've made a fit for yourself. And I want you to speak to that a little bit, because there's so many people out there who live with that. I just don't fit. I just don't fit. So what would you say to them?
It just really goes back to patience. There has to be an acceptance that God just really didn't make a mistake. He just didn't make a mistake with me. And I have to just hang on to that and believe that. And then there will come a time when you grow into where, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
I've lived now in this season to see, in a lot of instances, I get to be the tie that binds. Whereas I wasn't this or that enough before. Now I'm enough because you might want to be here and you might want to be here, but they don't even understand you because your Jamaican is too thick. Right. And yours is not enough. But they get me and they don't get you. Right. So I've lived long enough to see where I can fit. But unless you just believe what God says about you until you feel it. Right. Then even when I get the you fit, you still won't get it. Right. One of the things my mother said to me is just like being a swan and you're in a chicken coop. There's nothing wrong with chickens and there's nothing wrong with swan, but you're not a chicken, and so they're constantly dissing you for not being a chicken. Right. And you're just wishing you were a chicken. There's nothing you can do to be a chicken because you're not. Right. Then one day you stumble upon some other swan and you go, oh, okay. Right, right. I get it.
Exactly.
It wasn't that I was whack all this time. I just wasn't one of them.
I was me.
And they weren't whack either. They just had never.
They were just them. Yeah.
They were them, and they were going, what's your deal? Your neck is long, your wings are bigger, what's up with that? Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just a whole bunch of ignorance. Right. The Bible says people perish for the lack of knowledge.
Yes, they do.
We kill each other for the lack of knowledge.
Yes, we do.
Hate each other. We murder each other with our words.
For the wrong reasons, not even knowing. And having said that, we're going to have a song from you. Wow. And I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please prepare yourself for this blessing. Lynette White.
This one is called Secret Place. There's so much going on right now, and it's nice to have a place to hide. A place of refuge. My secret place, my hideaway, my promise of a brighter day, my hopes and dreams alive again, my destiny on you depends. So what can separate me from your love? Who can compare? And when will you leave or forsake me, Lord? Why not cast all my cares? Where can I run that your arms cannot reach, or that your eyes will not see? Your ears are open to my cries, oh Lord, so I cry out to thee. My secret place, my hideaway, my promise of a brighter day, my hopes and dreams alive again, and my destiny on you depends. So what about the forks in the road, my choices in life? And what about the times that I don't know what to do and things don't turn out right? And what about my fears, and what about my tears? How do I stand on my own? Your presence upholds, your glory unfolds. Behold, you're still on the throne. My secret place, my hideaway. You promised me a brighter day. My hopes and dreams, they're alive again. My destiny on you depends. My secret place, my hideaway, my promise of a brighter day, my promise of a brighter day, my hopes and dreams are alive again, and my destiny on you depends. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of you, Lord, you are my refuge, my rock, my fortress, my God, and you I confidently trust. My secret place. Oh, 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 you are my secret place, my hideaway. I hide in you, brand new mercies every morning, brand new mercies every morning. My destiny depends on you, Lord. My secret place, my secret place. I'm gonna hide in you. 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 My secret place. Alive again. My destiny depends on you. My destiny depends on you. My secret place. My secret place.
Woo! Okay, one really quick question before we go.
Yes.
Do you write your own songs?
I do.
Oh, phenomenal.
I do.
Phenomenal. That is wonderful. Thank you so much.
You rock so hard. Thank you.
You too, Mommy.
I love me some you. Can we hug and not crash mics?
Okay. Thank you again.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
This has been Indie Encounter, a journey into the world of the independent creators of art and artistic communication. I want to thank today's guest tremendously, Lynette White, for sharing her artistic vision with us. If you want to find out more about today's guest, check her out on Facebook or on the web by typing her name, Lynette White, into your internet browser. Check out our website here at PasadenaCommunityNetwork.com and select the Arroyo channel. You may also check out the website 4mark.com for additional contact information. Thanks to our director, Lilia F. Gaspar, and crew for making this show possible. Thanks to all of you. We hope to see you here again when we embark on another Indie Encounter.